Ready? Okay, great. The May 20, 2024 meeting of the Environment and Public Works Committee will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Bonnick. Here. Ms. Bonnick is present. Ms. Delvecchio Hoffman. Ms. Delvecchio Hoffman is present. Chairwoman Hugh Smith.
Here.
Chairwoman Hugh Smith is present. Mr. Mafucci. Here. Mr. Mafucci is present. Ms. McIntyre. Here. Ms. McIntyre is present. Mr. Morris. Here. Mr. Morris is present. Mr. Sinclair. Here. Mr. Sinclair is present.
Thank you. Is there anyone signed up for the public forum?
No, there's not.
Is there anyone present who is not signed up but who would like to address the committee at this time? Seeing no one. Next, presentations. Pat Gooch, Senior Planner for Monroe County's Planning and Development Department, will now give a brief overview of the 2025-2030 Capital Improvement Program as it pertains to Environment and Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Chairperson Hugh Smith. You should all have a copy of the recommended 2025-2030 CIP, or Capital Improvement Program. This report reflects the culmination of an 11-month process beginning in late summer, with departments proposing a 6-year funding plan for capital projects. A committee reviews the proposed projects and requires changes based on project priority and fiscal constraints on the program. After review by the county executive, the CIP is submitted to the county planning board. The planning board reviews the CIP, holds a public hearing, and sets priorities for the capital budget year, which is the first year of the CIP, or in this case, 2025. The planning board reviews and considers the draft CIP and recommends it to the county executive, who then submits the recommended CIP to your honorable body. At the June meeting of the legislature, you will set a public hearing for July, and then, upon your favorable review, vote to adopt the plan. There are no funding approvals associated with taking action on this referral. There are 4 sections of the CIP pertinent to this committee: the airport and 3 divisions of the Department of Environmental Services. The airport, or Department of Aviation, has a large program with 24 projects. Their program begins on page 28 of your CIP. There is 1 new airport project in this year's CIP, baggage system improvements, which is scheduled for 2030. Airport funding amounts and schedules are subject to a change as FAA priorities change. FAA funding depends on shifting federal priorities, and so the airport shifts accordingly. The airport program accounts for just over 7% of the total recommended 2025-2030 capital program. Moving on to the Department of Environmental Services, the Pure Waters program begins on page 41. There are 26 projects in Pure Waters CIP this year. The first 5 projects listed are general improvements to the sanitary sewer system in each district, and they are funded with district cash and so will not impact the district's debt service payments. 5 new Pure Waters projects are introduced to the CIP in 2028, with all but 1 scheduled for 2030. The Pure Waters program accounts for just over 34.1% of the total capital program. The Facilities Management program begins on page 52. There are 17 projects in this program. 5 new projects are added to the 2025-2030 CIP. The Facilities program accounts for just under 13% of the total capital program. Lastly, the Solid Waste Division on pages 59 and 60 of your CIP account for just under 2% of the total capital program. 1 new project, Resource Recovery Facility Site and Mechanical Electrical Improvements, is slated for 2030. I'll be happy to take questions when you get to this item on your agenda. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Gooch. Approval of minutes. The next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. You have the April 30th, 2024 minutes of the Environment and Public Works Committee before you. They will stand approved unless the clerk is notified of any changes by the end of the day. The next item on the agenda is new business. Madam Clerk.
Referral 24-0152, amend the 2024 capital budget to increase funding for the project entitled Civic Center Complex Reconstruction, amend bond resolution 378 of 2020 to reduce the authorized financing for the project entitled General Improvements to County Facilities. Amend bond resolution 389 of 2020 to authorize additional financing for the project entitled Civic Center Complex Reconstruction, and authorize contracts with John W. Danforth Company and Concord Electric Corp. For the Civic Center Garage Fan Replacement Project.
Moved by legislator Mafucci, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Is there any discussion?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to the administration, when will this project be completed by? Is there an estimated date of completion?
Through the chair, the current overall, I'll give you a project schedule. We received bids on February 23rd. We anticipate a notice to proceed in July of 24 after approval by this honorable body, and substantial completion should be completed probably in July of 25 next year. It's about a year-long project.
Thank you. One follow-up question. Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you again to the administration. Can we have an update regarding any incidents in recent months at the Civic Center? Any criminal activity or any issues out there in recent months?
Through the chair, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, can we have an update on any incidents that have, over the recent months that have occurred over at the Civic Center garage? Any criminal activities or any issues of concern we should be made aware of?
Through the chair, none that I'm aware of.
Good to hear. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I yield.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Signify. Any opposed? Next item.
Referral 24-0153. Acceptance of a municipal waste reduction and recycling grant and aid from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation for a municipal waste reduction and/or recycling project for recycling salaries and public education.
Moved by legislator Mafucci, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Is there any discussion? Legislator Sinclair.
Thank you. Through the chair, what determines the amount matched by the state? It says up to 50%. Does everyone receive the 50%?
Through the chair, that is my understanding. 50% is taken from the budget that we submit to the state in the application.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item, please.
Referral 24-0154, acceptance of an engineering planning grant from the New York State Facilities Corporation from the Frank E. Van Laer Water Resource Recovery Facility in Influent Improvements Project.
Moved by legislator Mafucci, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Is there any discussion? Senator McIntyre.
Through the chair, when will the review of these systems and engineering reports be done by?
Through the chair, this is engineering that's going to be undertaken to address a number of the preliminary treatment and influent projects that are actually identified in the CIP. So this project will be undertaken over the next year, which will identify a report that then leads into further design review. So in essence, it's an ongoing project, but this initial effort's going to take about a year, and then we'll get the grant as a reimbursement for that effort.
Okay, I yield.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 24-0156, authorize the acceptance of an engineering planning grant from the New York State Facilities Corporation for the Northwest Quadrant Water Resource Recovery Facility Aeration Improvements Project.
Moved by legislator Mafucci, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Is there any discussion? Legislator Morris.
Through to the administration, same question, possibly the same answer as Legislator McIntyre. When will review of the systems and engineering report be completed by?
Through the chair, so in the case of this particular project, this is, the aeration project is going to be a little bit farther out in terms of when we're going to get into design. So we will do some preliminary engineering now, but the full-blown design of this won't happen for another couple of years in conjunction with the CIP.
Thank you. I yield, Madam Chair.
Anything else? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 24-0158, classification of action, designation of lead agency, and determination of significance pursuant to State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, for the Town of Brighton Clover Street Sidewalk Project funded through the Monroe County Community Development Block Grant Program/Home.
Moved by legislator Mafucci, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 24-0159, classification of action and determination of significance pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act regarding the First-Time Home Buyers Program funded through the Monroe County Home Investment Partnerships HOME Program.
Moved by legislator Mafucci, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Is there any discussion? There's
Is this program available to any suburban first-time buyers, or what are the requirements?
Through the chair, there are eligibility requirements which we can provide to you in follow-up.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 24-0160, classification of action, designation of lead agency, and determination of significance pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act for the Fulman's Landing Project funded through the Monroe County Home Investments Partnerships HOME Program.
Moved by legislator Mafucci, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 24-0161, classification of action and determination of significance pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act regarding the acquisition rehab resale program funded through the Monroe County Home Partnerships HOME Program.
Moved by legislator Mafucci, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 24-0163, adopt 2025-2030 Capital Improvement Program.
By legislator Mafucci, seconded by legislator Bonnet. Is there any discussion?
Through the chair, when were these project cost estimates for the CHIP completed? And how confident is the administration that we will remain within the 10% of the cost shown in this proposal?
Through the chair, the numbers in the CIP are the project estimates from each department based on when they create that project. However, the capital budget year, which in this situation is 2025, is further refined, and those numbers are reflective of this year's current dollar value. Excuse me. So they are current, and they are the best estimates of what the departments believe the project should cost based on current bids that they are receiving.
Okay, and through the chair, were any projects in this portion of the CHIP delayed, downsized, or canceled? And can you provide a list of such?
Through the chair, we can get you a list of those.
Okay. And through the chair, what new projects were added to this portion of the CHIP this year?
Through the chair, there are 27 new projects added to the 6-year capital improvement program. They fall in the years 2025 to 2030. I can provide a list.
Thank you. I yield.
Fucci.
Legislator, can you use the microphone, please? Thank
There
you.
we go, how's that?
Better.
Through the chair to the administration, I'd like you to go to page 59, even though I'm not going to ask a specific question about page 59. I'm participating in a program in Pittsford that's involved in composting, and I'm wondering if at some point there's going to be any addressing of the need for maybe some composting. Whether you'd be anticipating that appearing in a future capital improvement plan.
Through the chair, I cannot ask or answer the question regarding whether a department will submit a CIP for a future program, but the Department of Environmental Services is here.
Through the chair, we are undertaking an organics management plan study right now that will look at all the different ways that the county can support the management of organic waste, and we'll be following the recommendations from that plan. As my colleague mentioned, we don't know whether or not that will include any capital projects, but that will be determined through the study.
Thank you, and I do have to say I've been enjoying participating in the Pittsford pilot.
I have a follow-up for DES. And when are you expecting the organic management plan to be completed?
We anticipate it to be completed by the end of 2025.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, through you, and I apologize if I should know this answer. So as the CIP progresses, is there, and there's the potential for these estimates to change, does everyone go through sort of an annual review and update for their estimates, or is it as a particular project, you get closer to that particular project? Just wondering what that process is to account for any necessary changes. Through you, Madam Chair.
Through the chair, yes, departments update their numbers as they believe they need to be updated. So that includes the out years of the CIP, and then they more aggressively make sure that their numbers are correct with the budget year, in this case, 2025.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I yield.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Referral 24-0179, classification of action and determination of significance pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act for the sale of county-owned tax foreclosure property located at 564 Bennington Drive in the town of Greece.
Moved by legislator Mafucci, seconded by legislator Bonack. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item carries. The next meeting of the Environment and Public Works Committee is scheduled for Monday, June 24th, 2024 at 5:15 p.m.